what's his name?
Oh, the audio.
Who did this?
Oh, the audio.
He quoted it on paper.
You guys did it? Yeah. Alright, that's everybody.
He's like, and I
You left it, but right? She's up.
Yeah. Everybody get intrigued.
You got it? It's on? Hey, really quick. Hey, it is. Dang it. The YouTube stream is on, so just know that you are already being streamed on that. We're just waiting for you guys to settle down so we can start the actual video.
Not you stream?
YouTube. Well, we're on YouTube now, just so y'all know. SG or University of South Florida Student Government. There you go. USF Student Government. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell everybody. But you can always stick out. It reminds me of like, you know, like Wizard of Oz where you just cross my house and you just like curl up. I've never seen a movie
not getting crushed by a house.
Yes, you did. Wizard of Oz, story.
The one was the main character.
Yeah, and she was in the tornado and she went to the other place. She got crushed by a house. She saw her red shoes. Whatever, I haven't seen this in a while. Oh my god. They're going to stand.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Your point has been considerably considered. Diabetes.
Mr. Hartman, do you have your clicker? Alright.
Bam, bam, bam.
I call this meeting of Senate to order at 6:09 p.m. on March 25th. If I could have everybody rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Joshi, if you'd like to lead us out.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. All right, first roll call. Quick one for here. That's everybody? 33 present. Okay. Thank you. Moving on down the agenda, additions, deletions, and or clarifications to the orders of the day. Senator Aldridge.
All right, I am statutorily bound 213.2.1 is the clause to motion to amend the agenda under general business to put the first thing, or like to add the Senate impeachment committee.
Thank you, sir. Any objections? Well, you can't really object to that. So, any motions further? Senator Kenton.
Motion to accept the agenda?
Any objections to accepting the agenda as it stands? Ma'am.
Was the fiscal legislation on first reading, the second one, 54083 added? It was.
Oh, as a bank, sorry, I saw that's an objection. Would you like to add it?
Yes, I would like to motion to add SBA 54083, Student Society Health Systems Pharmacy, to the agenda.
Thank you. Any objections to adding that to the agenda? Sorry. Seeing none, I'll take on the motion. Senator Kenton.
I'll reinstate my previous motion to accept the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Any objections? Seeing none. Moving on down the beautiful agenda. Additions, deletions, and or changes to the minutes. The minutes were not sent out. Oh, the minute. Yeah, okay. The minutes were sent out. Specifically, is November 5th. Any problems with the meetings or the minutes from November 5th? Senator Abraham. Any objection to approving the minutes as they were read and as you guys read them? Seeing none, they'll be accepted. They'll be approved and posted online. Miss Ali is also almost done with the rest of the fall, and then she'll move on towards spring. Legislative branch report. Mr. Ontor, if you'd like to go ahead and take us off.
Nothing to report that's new. We still have the Title VI bill coming up this week, and a couple of hiring discussions to have regarding the Bill Control 2 that we were working on before spring break. Yeah, so that's what we do this week.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Moving on, Senator Gibson. Senator Moran? Senator Romero.
Okay, so this week we pretty much just had one off-campus request and one budget bill. The meeting took 23 minutes thanks to the chairing of Senator O'Day, who I have to say chaired it 7 times better than I did the week before. So that was great. It took, my meeting was way shorter, but it took way longer just because, I had complications. But either way, that's pretty much what we did. I don't believe we'll have a meeting unless we'll have a meeting next week unless something gets obviously sent back by Senate this week, in which case we will.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for appropriations? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to ASARC.
Okay, guys, wrapping up ASARC. This is the last week we are meeting. We have a couple more student organization appeals to deal with, and then we will finalize the final bill, and then you guys will see it on Tuesday. So look forward to that. Questions?
Moving on, Senator Aziz.
So last week the JC committee didn't meet. They had positive points to the file. So this week we're meeting, we're having the executive branch do their end of the year updates. Just pretty much them summarizing their accomplishments and improvements and things they need to get done. So we're doing that for the next 2 or 3 weeks to get the kind of things. It's kind of their year-end transition report presentation to the Commission Ethics Committee.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Special funding, if there's someone who wants to explain it a little bit. Senator Moran.
Okay, so we didn't meet this week. Next week we are meeting to go over statutes regarding special funding, and we have been sent out the legislation, and so we're going to look at and meet next week.
Senator Aldridge, would you like to add?
Yeah.
Thank you,
also, just was sent earlier today is that travel grant has about $6,000 to $7,000 left over from organizations that have already allocated it in the past but not spent all of it. So if there are any more travel grants that are still in the queue, then they'll go ahead and come up before the committee next week as well.
Cool. Questions? See you on Senator Coco.
Mr. Brown will be giving the report.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Brown.
Senator Monty's 10th day last week with great success. We got over 225 survey responses. Most people, over 50%, said they would like better lighting on campus, particularly around the library and residence halls, which they feel is most necessary. As for the student memorial, we met with the physical plant today at 9 a.m. Carla Wilman and the architect for the memorial set a date for the groundbreaking ceremony, and it will be April 17th at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you. Questions for either committee? Seeing none. Senator Aldridge.
Couple things. The attendance has been updated to up until the meeting before spring break, so I'm finishing that up. And we'll probably, at this point, we're at about 40 to 50 pieces, either pieces of legislation, agendas, minutes, book records. All that's going to go on the website sometime this week. Not much else, just sort of trying to get everything in a tip-top shape for the end of the semester. The only thing I have here is that I have name tags for all the senators. Big props to Mr. Housen, if he's in that room, he is, for his help on that. So there's name tag engraved for all of you. we'll try to get it sometime today, either during the meeting or at the end of the meeting. But that's about it.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? All right. As for myself, I had the unfortunate pleasure of having a canceled student health insurance committee meeting. So the last one will be on March, or not March, it's April 24th. And so if anyone wants to accompany me, if you want to see the way that they're going to decide on the health insurance in the future, you can come with me, just let me know. Also, everyone up here should be, pretty fairly aware of transition documents, so that's what we should start doing as soon as we possibly can, once we roll out of all pertinent committee business. Those of you who are coming back are just looking to step up into the role of Senex. Start talking to your or start talking to whichever chairs you believe you would like to run for, and learn the way it actually works. It's just pretty much shadowing, figure out what their binders say, because everyone should have a transition binder. It should be pretty self-explanatory, actually. Should be okay. But I trust all of you. Questions? Good stuff. Moving on. Executive branch report. Mr. Osmond.
Good evening, everyone. A few updates from the executive branch. First of all, banquet planning is underway, so soon everyone should be receiving nomination packets for banquet awards, and also more information about that. It's most likely going to be held in Marshall Center this year. The executive branch is working on transition reports, because as many of you know, the term is wrapping up, and approximately 1/1. So we are continuing discussions working with IT about improving printing, and I don't know if many of you know, but there's actually 3D printing already on campus. And so you can actually go to the Advanced Visualization Center and 3D printing. Executive branch is also busy preparing reports for Judicial and Ethics Committee. Chairman Aziz has requested that the departments come back to his committee and update them with their progress that they accomplished throughout the year. Safe Team is continuing along with TAP Ride and are proceeding. The contract is with purchasing, so they're evaluating the contract. SGCS is having an open house tomorrow, so everyone should feel free to come. It's from 11:30 to 1:30. There's food, and then kind of like a tour and an explanation of services, opportunity to give comments or whatever you think should be improved. And the last thing is Bulls Radio is working with WSF to try to have a close working partnership with them, so give more opportunities for those people with Bulls Radio.
Questions? Thank you, sir. All right, judicial branch report. Chief Justice Brendan Ventura.
Hello, Senate. I'll keep it brief for tonight. As you all know, we had our hearing last Wednesday. We issued the opinion on Friday, and it was certified within the time limit with a condition. Other than that, it is pending an appeal. I did receive the documents from Dr. Dean Freeman, the Dean for Students, and the issue is being appealed. Until then, I'm not going to comment on any of the information or anything that contained in the appeal. I actually just got it myself, so I'm going to be reviewing that, and we will be cooperative with the Dean for Student, and we will see how this all turns out. And then the only other thing is this Friday, the court is going to visit Lakeland. We're going to be with the other judicial branches there, and it'll be the last time we see USF Lakeland. Other than that, that's all I have to report. Any questions?
Senator Romero.
Could you be a little more clear on exactly what you guys' decision was for senators who maybe didn't read the disposition and get it put out?
That's fine. Well, the decision is posted on the door of the office, and it is there to read verbatim for any of you that want to read up about it. But essentially, we had overturned the ERC's decision, and we ordered the ERC to consider all the points and sites to Mr. John Coco to be null and void. And the reasoning is all in the opinion that you guys can read. There was one dissenting opinion. That person is here as well, and you can talk to them as well if you choose to.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other questions?
Seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Open forum.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me as always. For those of you who don't know me or don't remember me, it's fine. I'm Erica from the athletics department. We have an exciting couple of events this week, if I do say so myself. I handed out some flyers earlier. I think there's an extra stack down there if you want to take some more with you on your way out. Starting with Thursday, our women's basketball team is hosting the third round of the WNIT. They're in the tournament and have won 2 games at home already. We get to continue hosting, and it's based on attendance in the NIT. So as long as our attendance numbers are better than our opponent that we'll face in the next round, we'll get to continue hosting and we're winning. So hopefully you guys will come on out Thursday at 7 in the Sun Dome. We'll be right here. And Coach Fernandez is picking up the tab on student tickets, so you guys will get them for free like we always do on the regular season home games. Bring your student ID card, gate fee, Sun Dome, get in for free. It should be a really exciting game playing towards Washington. And we have the opportunity to host 3 more games again to keep winning, and our attendance is great. So we can host all the way to the championship game. Hopefully you guys will come out, tell your friends about it, and post these flyers, share the information with everyone you know. On the reverse side of the flyer is some information about a student tailgate at the football spring game. About a week ago, we made the decision to move the spring game on campus, which we haven't done in a couple years, so we're right here. Accessibility for students. We have Corvette Stadium right by all the athletic facilities right there by the Sun Dome Baseball Stadium. It's actually our soccer stadium that will be converted into an awesome football field. We're putting together a free student tailgate that will start at noon and includes free food for the first 1,000 students there. You'll get a hot dog, chips, and a drink. And then there'll be a cornhole tournament, full radio and DJing there. It should be a really fun time. Pretty much bring your own tailgate setup, bring your chairs, bring your blankets, whatever you'd like to have there, and we'll provide the fun, the music, the food, that kind of stuff. We'll also have free t-shirts for the first 500 students heading into the event. Gates will open at 3 heading into the spring game. It'll be a fun day of on-campus Bulls football, which we don't get that often. So hopefully you guys will come out to that as well. And again, share all that information with all your friends, your organization members, everyone you possibly can. And then as we win and listen to the WNIT team, I'll let you know when that is. Any questions?
Senator Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was wondering if this is the first ever football game we've had on campus, or what has happened?
I believe, I've only been here for 6 months, but I believe that 2 years ago they hosted some sort of green and white game on campus. It was a little bit different than the spring game. It was they did both events. So I wouldn't say it's the first ever, but we're going to make a big deal of it. It's the first ever Willie Taggart football game. Thank you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Open forum, anybody else? Senator Pellegrino.
Hey guys, I am a member of Phi Sigma from Political Science National Honor Society, and we are recruiting right now. As a member of the Political Science National Honor Society, we get to attend really cool political events, such as, for example, in October I got to go to the Democratic Party convention in Orlando, and everything was fully paid by for, and I also got to go to the Republican Party business meeting, and again, it's all paid by the chapter. So I have more information on recruitment, requirements, benefits, all of that. So if you are interested, just get in contact with me and I'll be more than happy to provide more information. Thank you. Oh, wait, one more thing. The induction ceremony for this year is April 4th. So you're still in time if you want to be a part. You can submit your application and get everything ready before April 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. Moving on, general business. One thing before we get right there though, wait, while we're in the forum actually, they've had impeachment before where they handed out the actual documents if you guys want to follow along, because we will present it on here and we'll read it out loud so you guys are all familiar with the whole concept and we'll present it all that kind of stuff, yeah. Would you rather have it printed in front of you, or would you, and while you read along, or would you rather just read along in photos? Senator Romero.
I would rather be able to, I would rather read on the screen and have a piece of paper, but if that's going to be like too cumbersome / inconvenient.
If you just raise your hand, how many people want a printed out copy? If there's not that many, I'll just go print them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 copies? 11 copies?
How many pages?
7 pages? So that's 11 people. Just count off. Okay, so 10. We'll print 12 just in case. If you could, please. And we'll take a 2-second recess. Not even recess, but yeah, I'll take a motion for a 2-minute recess. But just don't leave. You're all staying here. Senator Canton.
I'd like to motion for a 2-minute recess.
Thank you. Any objections? Seeing none, we're now in recess at 6:27 p.m. Thank you, sir. All right, don't leave the room. Like, it's only been 15 minutes.
Sergeant Arms, watch the door.
Sergeant with Arms. We're gonna rename it.
Sergeant with Arms.
Yeah.
I got my eyes
No.
Arctic Monkeys?
No.
Arctic Monkeys cover was amazing.
No.
Not original.
The Arctic Monkeys are so good.
They're original.
The Drake.
Who is that? Who is that?
I'm up.
Sergeant Arms.
They got lucky.
I'm about to get some senators up in here, though.
Hey, Adi, how about you watch that or you can watch it? Are you holding me?
Oh, no, you.
Thank you guys very much.
I know, bro.
Oh, you gotta watch these.
I have to watch the old season. I don't remember anything.
Oh my God!
I was like, I'm gonna start the next season. I started like, now I'm a friend. I'm like,
Having to binge it.
yes. It was over one day. It was like a year ago. I was like, crap, I don't remember any of it.
Watch the highlight video.
That's worth it.
I mean, that's what we did. I mean, I remember a lot of things, but there were specifics. Like, I saw somebody, I was like, who the hell is this?
I was like, which guy got killed in the garage? I don't remember.
I remember him.
I remember his ball. Russo. I don't remember their names at all, bro. They mentioned them, and I'm like, who the hell?
I know them by face.
Yeah.
You know? That's how I had to do it.
You excited?
Was it was a really interesting episode regarding starting the That's all I'm gonna say. You got one.
It's probably called Sergeant Arms. We're going to give the Sergeant at Arms right to the arms. Thank you, sir. Alright, whoever wanted the copy, guys, hey, raise your hand again so he knows where to give it. Actually, I'm tagging one.
I think I do. But you would know, you know. She used that as an excuse to get out of doing things like that. Did she want us to go to Beans Company? So she lied. Maybe she was like, okay, fine. No, we don't have all of it. I thought it was going to be
Hey, just share.
The teacher was just like, nope, fine. Okay, stay away.
Nobody wants to do this.
It's the best answer.
That's all I see.
Alright, get your clickers.
Wait, what do you do?
Once they get down, wait for it.
So nasty. The people start to feel like they're
What's right, sir? We're back from recess at 6:33 p.m. Alright, now everyone who wanted a copy should have a copy. If not, try to get as close to the person with one. If you're like farsighted or near, whichever one's bad. Near, thank you, sir. And so what we'll do is we'll go down together. Hopefully you guys can read along as I read and scroll down through the passage. But yeah, other than that, let's do this. We're now in general business. Moving on, first item on the agenda is Senate Impeachment Committee. I should be back. Alright then. I'll take a motion to read it. Senator, somebody who doesn't really get anything. Senator Rodriguez, would you like to open the motion to read? I'm sorry.
Motion to read memo of impeachment.
Sure, any objection to reading this memo of impeachment? Seeing none, we're now reading procedures. All right. So, would you guys like me to read out loud? Senator Aldrich, actually, you can go ahead and read out loud.
I have another copy of it. All right. This was filed at about 5 o'clock today, and I'll read it out and then end the closing statement. All right. Start with the italicized part. This shall serve as an official statement requesting impeachment of the Chief Justice Brian Ventura, Senior Justice Daniel Shapiro, and Ranking Justice Sammy Hamed. In accordance with Student Government Statute 212.2, I am requesting that an impeachment committee be formed to address the alleged indiscretions involving the current Student Government Supreme Court members mentioned above. These allegations include malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance, incompetence, and abuse of power. The accompanying statutes for these allegations are 212.2.1, 212.2.2, 212.2.3, 212.2.4, and 212.2.5. The Student Government Supreme Court members violated Statute 102.2. All students serving in any capacity with student government must comply with the student government statutes. Any disregard, unintentional or deliberate, of any statute may subject that student to removal from the position in accordance with the student government constitution and statutes. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not complying with the Judicial Ethics Act in Chapter 209 in regards to the events leading up to the trial of John Coco versus the RC. 103.2, abuse of power. Use of one's power to coerce or unjustifiably influence any fellow member of student government. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by unjustifiably trying to influence other members of student government and fellow justices. 103.16, coercion, the use of force or threats to compel a person to commit an act. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by trying to force fellow justices to vote a certain way. 103.40, incompetence, lack of qualification, inadequate qualification, or the lack of the qualities necessary to fulfill the duties of the position. The SG Supreme Court leadership did not exhibit the professional qualifications and qualities needed to fulfill the duties of this position by trying to pre-decide the trial result before it happens. 103.49, malfeasance, commission of a wrongful or unlawful act involving or affecting the performance of one's duties. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this by discussing and acting upon the intention to choose who votes for what for the trial before it happens. 103.51, misfeasance, performance of a lawful action in an illegal or improper manner or with an improper or corrupt motive. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not conducting the trial properly by illegally discussing the results beforehand in a corrupt motive. 103.52, nonfeasance, failure to perform an act that is either an official duty or a legal requirement. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not being unbiased before the trial as being unbiased as part of their official duty. 209.5.1, take advantage of the official capacity of their office for their own personal gain or advantage, including any act beneficial to any person in whose welfare he or she is interested. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by using the positions to sway the outcome of the trial in favor of one particular party. 209.5.3, participate in any student government procedure where the outcome has significant personal consequences for the individual that render him or her unable to act impartially. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute because they had a personal outcome of having one of their friends being involved in an election trial. This enabled them to not act impartially. 209.5.4, make an untrue claim expressly stated or implied to be factual with the intent to harm the reputation of an individual or entity. This claim may be communicated verbally or in writing. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by making untrue claims about being unbiased and acted with intent of favoring one particular party in the trial. 209.5.8, advise, aid, procure, or in any way induce another to act in violence of the student body constitution, student government statutes, or otherwise specified student government policy, or the university's student code of conduct. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by discussing the outcome of the trial before it occurs and not fairly assessing the case for its merits. They discussed that they already had the votes needed for the case to be in favor of John Coker. 209.7, a violation under this chapter may be grounds for impeachment, suspension, removal from office, dismissal from employment, non-compliance, or public censure. The SG Supreme Court leadership is in violation of the rules in Chapter 209, which is grounds for impeachment. 503.1, legislative intent. The judicial system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary shall interpret and apply the laws that govern, and the role of the judiciary is central to the American concepts of justice and rule of law. Intrinsic to this concept are the precepts that justices, individually and collectively, must respect and honor the judicial office as a public trust and strive to enhance and maintain confidence in the legal system. The justice is an arbiter of facts and law for the resolution of disputes and a highly visible member of student government under the rule of law. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this by not being independent, fair, and competent in interpreting and applying the laws that govern. They violated this by already deciding John Coco was the victor of the trial before it happened. The Supreme Court members did not wait for the facts to be heard, since they had already made up their minds on which way to vote. 503.3.3, or just 1.3. The Act governs the conduct of justices and is binding upon them whether disciplinary action is appropriate, and the degree of discipline to be imposed requires a reasoned application of the text and consideration of such factors as the serious and the transgression, whether there is a plan of improper activity, and the effect of the improper activity on others or on the judicial system. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by the justices not conducting themselves with discipline in regards to the seriousness of the trial. They engaged in improper activity by discussing and actually going through with their plans to choose how to vote. 503.4, a justice shall uphold the integrity and independence of the judiciary. A justice shall participate in establishing, maintaining, and enforcing high standards of conduct, and shall personally observe those standards so that the integrity and independence of the judiciary shall be preserved. And the provisions of the Act are to be applied to further this objective. A judicial decision or administrative act later determined to be incorrect legally is not itself a violation of the Act. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not upholding the integrity and independence of the judiciary. They did not uphold the high standards of conduct that is expected of a Supreme Court member by discussing and going through with the concept of voting in favor of dismissing the John Coco campaign violations. 503.5. A justice shall avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all of his or her activities through following the measures prescribed in law. A justice shall respect and comply with the law and shall act at all times in a manner to promote public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by having an impropriety in their decision and discussions of the spring 2014 election trial. The justices did not avoid the appearance of impropriety as they discussed and followed through, deciding who will vote for what during the election trial hearing. The Supreme Court members did not respect and comply with the law that exhibits impartiality and integrity. 503.5.2, a justice shall not allow family, social, political, or other relationships to influence their conduct or judgment, nor shall a justice convey or permit others to convey the impression that any individual is in a position to influence justice. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by using relationships established to guide their decisions and judgment. They used their position as a justice improperly to render a biased opinion. This was done by discussing the outcome of the trial beforehand and then acting upon the discussion. 503.5.3, a justice shall not lend the prestige of judicial office to advance the pecuniary or personal interests of the justices or others, nor shall a justice testify voluntarily as a material witness before the student government Supreme Court. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by advancing personal interests by favoring the candidate who was appealing the campaign violation. 503.6.1, a justice shall hear and decide all matters assigned to the Supreme Court, except those in which he or she recused themselves. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by hearing matters and deciding upon them before the trial, such as deciding the outcome. The justices did not recuse themselves before any discussion of the predetermined outcome. 503.6.2, a justice shall be faithful to the law, regardless of partisan interest, public clamor, or fear of criticism. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not being faithful to the law and putting partisan interests ahead of the professional conduct of the Supreme Court. They were not faithful by objectively deciding the outcome of the trial beforehand and then doing so during voting. 503.6.3, a justice shall be patient, dignified, and courteous to all with whom the justice deals with in an official capacity. A justice shall also require similar conduct of all counselors, Supreme Court staff, and personnel under the justice's direction and control. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not being dignified in the context of their actions before the trial by deciding the trial outcome without listening to both parties. 503.6.4, a justice shall perform judicial duties without bias or prejudice. A justice shall not, in the performance of judicial duties, by words or conduct, manifest bias or prejudice, including but not limited to bias or prejudice based upon race, gender, religion, national origin, disability, age, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by being biased toward John Coco before the trial occurred. Supreme Court justices manifested bias before the court trial. 503.6.6, a justice shall dispose of all matters fairly, promptly, and efficiently. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by not acting efficiently and fairly in deciding the trial of Coco v. ERC. The Supreme Court did not hear both sides fairly, as one side, Coco, was favored by the members. 503.6.7, a justice shall not make any public comment about a pending or impending proceeding in the Supreme Court, and a justice shall not make any non-public comment that might interfere with a fair trial or hearing. The justice shall require a similar abstention on the part of Supreme Court personnel subject to the justice's discretion and control. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by commenting on a pending or impending trial and commenting on it before it happened. The court did not provide a fair trial or hearing by discussing and then voting in a manner that shows a bias toward the Coco campaign. 503.6.8, a justice shall not disclose or use, for any purpose unrelated to his or her judiciary capacity, non-public information acquired in a judicial capacity. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by discussing information that unrelated to the judiciary capacity, such as whom should be the next president of the student body. 503.6.9, a justice with supervisory authority for the judicial performance of other justices shall take reasonable measures to ensure the prompt disposition of matters before them and the proper performance of other judicial responsibilities. The Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by having the Chief Justice condone the actions of the senior ranking justices, wherein they were allowed to discuss and act upon the decision to vote in favor of dismissing the violations of John Coco before the trial had occurred. 503.7, a justice with reliable information that another justice has violated any provision of the Act shall initiate appropriate corrective action procedures. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by not acting upon the realization that there was a discussion about actions to take before a trial and actually going through with it during the trial outcome. The Chief Justice did not initiate appropriate corrective action procedures. 503.8, a justice shall recuse himself or herself in any proceedings in which recusal is required by court of law. In all trial proceedings, a justice shall disclose information that parties might consider relevant to the question of recusal, even if the justice believes there is no actual basis for recusal. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by not recusing themselves earlier on the discussion of the upcoming trial. The information of reason for recusal was not given until the day of trial and not beforehand, where discussions occurred amongst themselves for weeks. 503.9.1, a justice shall conduct extrajudicial activities so they do not. 503.9.1.1, cast reasonable doubt on his or her capacity to act impartially. 503.9.1.2, demean the judicial office. 503.9.1.3, interfere with the proper performance of judicial duties. The Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by conducting activities that cast doubt onto their capacity to act impartially, and they acted in a manner that demeaned the judicial office as well as interfering with the proper performance of judicial duties. This was done by discussing the outcome of the trial before the trial and deciding the outcome as well as following a decision into deliberations. 503.9.6, justices shall not engage in any political activity within student government other than in relation to measures concerning the improvement of the law, the judicial system, or the administration of justice. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated the statute by showing a bias towards one political campaign, Coco White, and engaging in activities not fit for the judicial branch, such as politics, since they should be unbiased. This inhibited the proper administration of justice, since the court discussed how they will engineer the trial, and acting upon that discussion for the actual trial, wherein the parties did not have a fair trial. ROP 4.12.4, members of the Supreme Court, in agreement of their opinions, shall select from amongst themselves one member of their voting bloc, majority, minority, dissenting, or concurring, to write their respective opinion. The Supreme Court leadership violated this ROP by not choosing one member in their voting bloc to write their respective opinion. The Supreme Court leadership members discussed working together instead of it being only one person who should do it. ROP 4.12.5, no justice may author an opinion that does not coincide with his or her respective vote. The Supreme Court leadership violated this ROP by having more than one member write their respective majority and or dissenting opinion each. There was discussion of having multiple authors. 203.3, the oath of office shall be as follows. As a member of the student government of the University of South Florida, I state full name, do hereby affirm to uphold the office of state the office, to abide by the student body constitution, to uphold the statute incorporated therein, and to represent the student body to the best of my ability. The SG Supreme Court leadership violated this statute by not following the statutes incorporated in Title II and Title V, as well as Title I. This is a violation of the duties and responsibilities of the Supreme Court leadership members. As a member of the University of South Florida community, I am disappointed by the behavior of Chief Justice Brian Ventura, Senior Justice Damon Shapiro, and Ranking Justice Sandy Hamed. The three Supreme Court members violated the statutes listed above. The Supreme Court violated 203.3, which is the oath of office, which says, as a member of the student government of the University of South Florida, I state full name, do hereby affirm to uphold the office of state the office, to abide by the student body constitution, to uphold the statutes incorporated therein, and to represent the student body to the best of my ability. The Supreme Court members neglected to uphold the oath by discussing the plans about who shall vote and who shall abstain for the John Coco versus the RC trial. In summary, the Supreme Court leadership exhibited several violations listed above that illustrate the discussion to engineer the outcome of the spring 2014 trial hearing of John Coco versus the RC. In addition, the Supreme Court leadership members followed the discussions and acted upon them when deciding the trial. As a representative of the student body at USF, I hereby call for the impeachment of Chief Justice Brian Buenaventura, Senior Justice James Shapiro, and Ranking Justice Samuel Hamed. Sincerely, Abdul Aziz, Senator of the College of Arts and Sciences, Sankati, Senator of the College of Arts and Sciences, Andy Rodriguez, Senator of the College of Engineering. And since they have filed the memo with the 3 signatures, by statute, it has met the needs for forming a Senate impeachment committee.
Thank you, sir. Well, I mean, does anyone have any questions? I don't know, procedural questions specifically. Procedural questions? No, okay. Attention.
So what is the timeline? So what exactly is the timeline for the entire impeachment committee process, starting from when this was submitted?
Well, sorry, I'm down a hand. Alright, so what we're looking at here is that chapter 213, which is where all impeachments are. What happens is 3 people bring it forward, or somebody brings it to Senate. Okay, 3 people sponsor it, 3 senators have to sponsor it, you have your 3. Moving on from there, the Senate then elects a committee, an impeachment committee, that will then convene, meet, and they'll decide, and pretty much as soon as they have their findings, they present them to Senate. Senate then hears all the findings and votes on the processes. Furthermore, from there, we have, if Senate chooses to impeach them, it furthers on to a judicial review committee, which is then formed right afterwards to decide if they are impeached right then. Because it's just for checks and balances, essentially, because the other committee has the executive branch in it as well. If that makes any sense. Senator Kent, does that follow?
Yes, on a procedural question. What are, for being impeached, what are the criteria? Is it like beyond a reasonable doubt?
I mean,
what is the outcome people are supposed to be deciding when it's all over?
Excuse me? I mean, yeah, obviously, like, I don't have the statutes on me, we can open them here, but...
So, I mean, if it would be cumbersome, it's okay.
I don't see, no, what I'm trying to understand is, I don't know if it's enumerated for the Senate, like it would be enumerated for the just, that's the only concern, I guess I'm trying to think about, but... Would you like them pulled up?
I mean, I can go look at it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I was wondering,
Senator Plum. Procedural.
Yeah, so could you repeat what the Senate impeachment committee is? Because there's like another step right after.
Right, okay, so what we have is, first, okay, so normally when you impeach a senator or you impeach an executive, an officer, so if you impeach Will, he would be impeached before Senate, like we'd say we impeach him, then he goes before the court for the hearing, okay? Now you couldn't send a justice before the justices for hearing because it's not allowed in our statutes for an obvious reason, like they'd be impeached. And so there's another committee that's formed, it's called the Judicial Review Committee. So once this committee of Senate, like they collect all, like their job solely is to collect all the evidence they possibly can, bring it all together, present it to Senate. That's their role. They present it to Senate, Senate votes on it saying, yes, there is merit to this finding, and no, there is not merit to that finding. If there's any criteria which meets merit to impeachment, even one, then it progresses on to the Judicial Review Committee, which then takes the action of impeachment, which that's a whole other task, it's not you guys. Well, there's 4 of you, but. Thank you, ma'am. Senator Odeh. Sorry.
How many people, or how many senators are on the committee for the senator? Is there a set number?
There's 3. There will be 3 as soon as you guys vote on them. Thank you, ma'am. Senator Ulloa.
So just a clarification. So the Senate Impeachment Committee is 3 senators who just gather up the information and distribute it. They don't really decide to the information.
Not distribute it. They take the information, they analyze it, they research, they can investigate to their extent, they can also interview to their extent, and they can have deliberations. They can consider, they're no different than the court at that point, where they can still consider everything. And they bring it to Senate saying that this is the merit we had, specifically. So if you opened up one of these, Okay, so imagine you pull up 503.3. 503.3. They'll bring it up in their committee. They'll pretty much talk about their findings, and they'll present to the Senate saying this has merit because X. Here's why. Here's this. Here's that. That kind of stuff they can bring together. They can talk to people who are the accusers. Obviously, that'd be the prime person to talk to see where it comes from. They can talk to the court, they can talk to whoever to get the actual information down.
So, are they only doing good merit, or do they, if there's lack of evidence, they present that too?
They
Like,
can.
the evidence they had is whatever.
They can present it however they want to, and I would personally recommend they present it with, like, there's lack of evidence if that's what they wanted to do. But the Senate as a whole then votes on it, saying there is merit, there's no merit. Okay? Except the people who are obviously Ms. Getty, Mr. Aziz, and Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. Thank you, sir. Any more questions? Procedural. Senator Lopez.
So, is it taken as all three of them, or is it individually?
Excuse me? Oh, no, it will be individual.
Okay.
Right. Questions? Seeing none. All right, moving onwards. All right, so we'll now open the floor to nominations for the Senate Impeachment Committee. Oh yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same concept. It's no different when you had HR. If you said, "Hey, I nominate X. I respectfully decline or I accept," then you answer questions on the why and all that kind of stuff, and you pretty much vote on those people and you endorse them as well. All right, Senator Rum. Put that one to that one. Ms. Pellegrino, do you accept your nomination? Thank you, ma'am. Senator Brown. Senator Canton, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Senator Hassan. Senator Benamoose, do you accept your nomination? Thank you, sir. Senator Colon.
Nominate Corey Love.
So Senator Loa, do you accept your nomination? Thank you, sir. Senator, sorry, I'm just kidding. Senator Marwan.
I nominate Carlos Romero.
Senator Romero, do you accept your nomination? Thank you, sir. Senator Hartman.
Nominate Senator Brown.
Senator Rum?
Brown.
Brown. Senator Brown, do you accept your nomination? Thank you, sir. Senator Lopez.
Senator Myers.
Senator Myers, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. All right. Everyone who accepted the nomination, just raise your hand. Sorry. Plug your hand first. Then up to Canton. Sorry. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. 7, sir. Huh? All right, you can put your hands down. Sorry about that. All right, any more nominations before we close the? Senator Onton.
Let's motion to close nominations.
Any objections to Senator Cantor? Is there any objection to closing nominations?
I wanted to nominate a senator.
Do you? Sure.
Could I nominate Senator Javier Mora Holmes?
Senator Marwan.
More respect for the county.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Senator Onton.
I'd like to rescind my motion to close nominations.
Any objection to closing the nomination pool? Seeing none, it's now closed. All right. We'll have all right, we'll do two endorsements per person because there's 7 of you. That'll make it easy because 14 people talking. See this one? I'm trying to think what to do like this. Actually, I'll take a motion for that. A motion for, how long would you guys like them to present? I'll take any motion. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. Just to appease the Senate. Senator Pellegrino. Actually, no, you actually are nominating yourself, or you were nominated. Senator Lowe, you were nominated as well. Senator Quillen. Oh,
So you're
Senator.
going to ask us to step out for the...
Yeah. This will be no different than an ASAC presentation. Senator Hartman.
Motion to make it 1 minute each.
Sure. Any objection to 1 minute presentation by each person? Seeing none. Thank you, sir. All right, what we'll do is we'll have the 7 of you present one at a time. One person steps, or 6 of you step out, one person presents. Good stuff. All right, well, the order we'll go in is Pellegrino, Canton, Abunamus, Romero, Brown, Ulloa, Myers. In order you're nominated. Gotcha. So Pellegrino, you'd walk to the front, and the rest of you guys, please step out. Thank you. And then leave your clickers with Ms. Belazar. I don't trust any of y'all.
We're out there just.
I know this is impromptu, but it's just what happens. It's going to be Pellegrino, Canton, Abunamus, Romero, Brown, Ulloa, and Myers. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Brendan Ventura. Actually,
Is it okay if I sit in?
I feel like it'd be better if you stepped out. Thank you, sir. Senator Belazar. 1 minute each. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, just tell him to be quiet, please. Thank you. I didn't even know it was back there. This is. Anybody else hiding? No? Good stuff. All right, guys. Let's keep this quiet so we can get done and rest through this night. Senator Pellegrino, you'll have 1 minute as soon as I get this clock started. And here I was hoping to go home early. Alright, once you're ready, man. And I'll do 1 tap of the gavel, 30 seconds, 2 taps, 15 seconds, 3 taps, you're out. You have 5 seconds to wrap up at the end.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. And what you're discussing is why you want to be in the committee. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, just really quick, I am a political science major, 3.98 GPA. I've been involved ever since I came to Senate. Even before I was in Senate, I was already finding ways to be involved. Why do I want to be in this impeachment committee? Because first of all, as the Rules Committee Vice Chair, I am extremely familiarized with every single official documents from the Constitution to the statutes to RP. I mean, everything literally has to go through the Rules Committee. So I've revised these documents and I've interpreted them as well. Also, my committee members, as well as many of you, can attest to my high level of professionalism and ethics in the workplace. So that's something that I will definitely be bringing to the table, as well as an unbiased decision making on my part. What is that, 20 seconds?
15.
15
Sorry.
seconds?
Yeah.
All right, so I definitely think that I am a great candidate for this committee. You can totally rely on my unbiased decision making and extensive knowledge on the official documents.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am, please. And if you could let in Mr. Kenton. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Again, you'll have 1 minute to speak. 30 seconds. 1 tap. 15 seconds left. 2 taps. When you're done, 3 taps. You're out. You have 5 seconds to wrap up at the end.
All right.
Once you're ready, sir, and you're telling them why you want to be committed. Go ahead.
Whenever you're ready. All right, guys. I would like to be on this committee because I want to find all of the facts for this once and for all, and all related issues. I want to have a complete and thorough examination, and I want the student body to have the full story on the impeachment. I want all the facts out there. I have experience on the Rules Committee. I've familiarized myself with the statute. Been working through that all year. On ASARC, I've grown very familiar with a lot of the inner workings of the departments. I've had a lot of experience with the parliamentary procedures, so I think I know on that front how to be an efficient member of a committee that can move things forward and make real progress and do productive work. This is obviously a massively important issue. It's about the fundamental justice that is the engine of student government and is the reason why students place faith and trust in us. I think that's probably the most important duty we have, and I hope that you will find me to be an adequate representative of the student body's interests on this very important matter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. And if you could let in Mr. Abunamus.
paper. It's on the table.
Every paper. All right, sir. Once you're ready.
Hello everybody, my name is Omar Abunamus. And I found that the claims embodied within this document were both lengthy and severe. I see myself as qualified, passionate, and willing to investigate into the case further. And I will remain intellectual and unbiased with my research and findings. The reason I want to do this is I want to gain experience for the future, and I also would like to look deeply into this document. I've been researching. Sorry?
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I've been researching a lot into the statutes, the ROPs, the Constitution, and such. So I find this to be a practical way for me to kind of use that knowledge in a physical manner. And I'm a little bit nervous up here, but it's my first time speaking. However, I think this will be a really good position for me to work my way up the ladder.
15 seconds.
And I would appreciate your vote in this committee. Thank you very much. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Next person, please, Mr. Romero. Okay. 30 seconds, you'll get 1 tap. 15 seconds left, you'll get 2 taps. And once you're gaveled out, that's when you're done. You have like 5 seconds to wrap up afterwards, and you're going to tell them why you want to be on this committee. You can go ahead.
Alright guys, first thing I want to say is that both candidates at the beginning approached me to help them be on their campaign. I purposely decided to be on neither campaign. And so first off, proof of the fact that I'm not affiliated with either of the campaigns or have a bias to either campaign. Either Coco or the other campaign can attest to the fact that when they came to me, and the only things that I've said are the fact that, or what I thought student government should be in the future and what I think should be better. I have no time of affiliated with either campaign, first off. Second off, any person who knows me, any of the people who have known me here for a prolonged time, know that one of the most important things in my life is to be virtuous. Be a person who not only does the right thing themselves, but calls other people out when they're doing the wrong things. The reason why I want to be on this committee is so that, like all the other people I'm sure who are outside, want to know what the truth is and want to make sure that the person who deserves to get elected is elected. And whether wrongdoing was done or whether wrongdoing was not done, that things are done correctly and that.
You can wrap up.
Thank you guys.
Next person, Mr. Brown, if you could please let him. Thank you, ma'am. Alright, 30 seconds, I'll give you 1 tap. 15 seconds left, I'll give you 2 taps. Once you're tapped out, you'll be done. You have 5 seconds to wrap up, and you're going to delight these people with why you want to be on the committee.
Alright. Alright, so as you know, I'm Evan Brown. I serve as the ad hoc chair for the Joint Ad Hoc Committee of Student Memorial. Big name, forgot my name second there. First of all, these are serious allegations. We all took oath at the beginning of the year, and I know that, I'd like to serve in the committee just because I'd like to see the truth come out about these allegations. And that's the thing that we all get concentrate on here, is exactly what is the truth and what violations were made, if any. I do have working knowledge of statutes and ROPs. I've served on ASARC right now, so I've experienced. I'm playing JDC and served various meetings throughout the year. So I think the truth is the most important thing here, and I promise you I would find the appropriate answer.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Mr. Ulloa. Alright, so at 30 seconds, I'll tap you once. At 15 seconds left, you'll get 2 taps. Once you're tapped out, you'll be done, and you have 5 seconds to wrap up at the end. You're going to explain to them why you want to be on the committee.
I hope everybody's seen it's kind of bright over there. So I'm Corey, and pretty much I just want to be on this committee to prevent unbiased results from the impeachment, be able to look over all the documents, make sure that if we're impeaching someone, it's going to look bad on Senate. If we impeach, it's going to look bad. If we don't impeach, but either way, I think as long as we have the facts down, we know what we're doing, it'll be clean and the students are going to respect that. I'm sorry that I don't have a presentation. I didn't really expect this. So I'm kind of thinking, but at the same time, I just think it's really important to have someone on a committee who's going to look at all the details so that when you're giving the report, the student body is going to say, they look at the details, they know exactly what they're looking at, they know whether something was done wrong, something was done correct, and they can act upon it. That's pretty much all I'm making.
Thank you, sir. All right, last person, Mr. Myers. Hello, sir. 30 seconds, I'll tap you once. At 15 seconds left, I'll give you 2 taps. Once you're tapped out, you'll have 5 seconds to wrap up, and you can explain to them why you want to be on the committee.
Okay.
Once ready.
Alright. Hey everyone, for those who have not formally met, my name is Taylor Myers. One of the main reasons I guess I just wanted to be on this committee, or kind of like go and work with the other 2 members of Senate on this, is because I think all of us are trying to figure out how this whole thing's kind of working out and all the bias behind it. It's kind of going on for too long. And I think since I've not had a formal position in the Senate, it's a good way for me to be involved and to try to get to the bottom of it and figure out who I need to talk to, along with the other 2 members, and speak and try to find evidence behind it.
You have 30 seconds left. Right?
I thought 30 seconds. So I guess to wrap up, I'm mainly on here, or mainly trying to run for I guess like USF's Law and Order edition, to try to figure out where the bias is, and to try to get to the bottom of it fairly and freely as possible. My schedule for the next pretty much month and semester is mainly free, so I'm not sure what the other candidates if they're busy or not.
Alright, thank you, sir. Yeah, you can wrap up. That's it.
They're just staying here since the last
Yep, that's fine. Thank you, sir. You can let in the rest of the candidates. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, you can stand up here. There's questions. You can't ask any individual questions. Please up here this way. Unless you have something you're going to grab, but other than that, Mr. Kenton this way as well. It's going to be no different than ASARC where everyone lined up and everyone just asked the same questions to every person. I mean, all right, firing squad, wherever it went.
Mr. President, missing candidate.
Mr. Lanto. 1, 2. God dang it,
He is located.
they moseyed on off. Oh, this way. Glad to be joined us.
Thank you.
Alrighty. What we'll do is we'll open up the floor to questioning. You can ask a question that has to apply to all seven of them, and we'll work from there and just make sure that you understand that we're trying to make sure, obviously ask about their schedules and stuff, because we're trying to do it as efficiently as possible, if that's a good word to use. So essentially this committee will start meeting as soon as you guys pick out its composure. Alright, Ms. Rom. I like your shirt.
Do you, I guess all of you, have any affiliation with either side of the party, and do you feel that with your relationship with either people on either side of this will influence your decision making or your perspective, or are you coming in this with a set idea of which way you want to go, or are you completely neutral on this position?
Thank you, ma'am. We'll start from Ms. Pellegrino.
I have absolutely no affiliation to either side, either ticket of the campaign or the court. I do know both sides. In the court, of course, we work with them. However, that will not influence my decision making at all. Again, I have absolutely no connection to either part.
Thank you. And whoever presented next, if you can just answer the question.
To the right? Or we going left?
I was a supporter of the Coca White ticket achieved by profile picture to the Coca White thing. Beyond that, I had no affiliation to campaign, didn't like go shopping with him, didn't work on it or anything. I did support her for president. As far as the court, I'm very good friends with one member of the court, Michael Kamowitz. Other than that, my acquaintance, as Ms. Pellegrino said, is pretty much just professional with the other members of the court. I do not believe that my opinion will be influenced in any way, especially because we're not ruling on the validity of the campaign itself, but rather impeachment charges against the justices, which are a wholly unrelated matter. Other than that, I really have been following the entire campaign closely, and I would love to be on this board, largely because I myself would personally like to find out all the facts on all the sides. So I think I will be very unbiased.
Thank you, sir.
To that.
All right, Senator News.
I was not involved in either campaign, and I believe that I would be unbiased in the ruling in this case.
Thank you, sir. Senator Merrill.
Like I said before, I was on either of the two campaigns. I am friends, however, with both the president and the vice president on both campaigns, as well as the members of the judicial branch. Either way, I think that I'm friends with all of them, and I think that if someone did do something wrongly, because they're my friends, I would want to hold them accountable even more, because that's what real friends do, in my opinion. And if no one did anything wrong, then they deserve to win. And so at the same time, I want to make sure that if nothing was done wrong, that person gets what they deserve.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, Senator Brown.
Just touching off what Senator Rhodes said, I mean, part of the reason why I'm here is to want to make friends. I know that some of my friends in the court, and Mr. Aziz, who followed the petition, I'm friends with him. We go to lunch every day. So I'm friends with, a lot of people on both sides, but I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. I wouldn't have volunteered for this position if I don't think that I could uphold my oath. So,
thank you, sir. And Senator Ulloa.
So I'm not a part of any side of this. And even if I was, the point of being on this committee is to be unbiased, to get all the data, to get all the information and decide what the appropriate thing is. So I think I wouldn't have agreed to go on this committee if I didn't think I could be unbiased.
Thank you, sir. And Senator Myers.
One thing I did do is I did change my cover photo for one of the tickets of the campaign. However, other than that, I am unbiased for as far as this process has came. My main goal is just find making committing evidence against either party within the judicial branch and kind of go from there.
Thank you, sir. Next question, and I'll start limiting time to speaking for a minute in total. Senator Colon first. Oh, is that a follow-up, Ms. Rom? Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Ms. Rom.
Actually, if you donate any money to any side of the campaign.
This is about the impeachment, it's not about any side. I'm just curious to see if that matters.
What was your question again?
They donated money to a campaign.
I believe that's part of this. Part of my follow-up on bias.
Sure. I'll accept it, just because it's about the campaign and the whole thing's about the campaign. Miss, is that procedural? Miss Oda.
Can I just have Senator Paul Green on the woman and switch so that way it's the order they spoke in? It's just been bothering me all.
That's not the order they spoke in. Fine, go do whatever you guys are doing. Just right here. Okay, cool. Yeah. Alright. I'll start from the bottom this time. Mr. Myers, if you'd like to answer
I have a question.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown.
Would the recommendation of this committee have any effect on the outcome of the trial that took place?
I do not believe so. No, this is
But
specifically
I don't
for
think
the
this is pertinent. This information is pertinent.
Look, man, I'm kind of starting to calm down, Charlie.
I'm chill.
The question was how to Could you explain how it's applicable? If not, we will not accept the question. Ms. Ron.
I guess the reason I'm asking this is to get a better idea of the candidates if they have been supporting a candidate. I think that's all of our right to know where they stand in regards to if they're being very neutral or objective. I guess everything you read up here, the word unbiased came up probably 50 times, and this is a way to see that, to make sure that we are putting people to represent the students that are objective, not on one side or the other.
Thank you. With unconditional support from the Senate, I'll proceed with the question. Mr. Myers, you can answer first. You have a minute.
I have not contributed to either ticket or the campaign. Like I said, the only thing I've done is show support by changing my profile photo and my cover photo. Other than that, no support otherwise has been.
All right. Thank you, sir. Senator Ulloa, next.
No, I haven't really any.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Brown?
Yes, actually, I did support Ticket financially, but as I said earlier, I have a low to hold. I don't think I would break that.
Thank you, sir. Senator Romero?
I didn't support either the campaigns financially either. Like I said, the only support that I gave was I thought student government can be improved, and I gave the same advice to both candidates.
Thank you, sir. Senator Robinous?
I did not support either campaign financially or verbally or Facebook photo-wise.
Thank you, sir. Senator Kenton?
I did not give any financial support to either campaign. I wish I was rich enough that I could give candidates.
Thank you, sir.
I would have said so if I had.
Thank you, sir. Senator Pellegrino?
I do not support either campaign monetarily or in any way, shape, or form.
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am. Further questions? Senator Cologne?
Moving off all that, what are your schedules like so you can actually get this thing done?
All right. Guys, the fun part of my decisions are what order I'm going to make you guys talk about. I'll start with Kenton first.
My schedule, I work from 9 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays at public supermarkets. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in school from 12:30 to 4:45. In the afternoon, Tuesdays, obviously, Senate is at 6 o'clock, as you all know. On Thursdays, I have rule committee from 7 to 8. I'm free Monday and Wednesday all day. This is the last meeting of ASAR coming up on Friday. So on Friday, I will have one class from 11 to 2 o'clock, leaving the rest of Friday open. So more or less, about 3 days of the week, I would be completely open and being able to meet, and then evenings the rest of the week, except for Tuesday.
All right. Moving on. Mr. Romero?
Okay, so I guess to start with my classes. I'm taking 3 online classes, which I finished the first week of the semester. I'm taking mammalian physiology and genetics lab. Those are really 3 classes that I'm actually doing anything for right now. They meet 12:30 to 1:45, and then 2 to 3:15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Genetics lab is from 8:35 a.m. to 11:35 a.m. on Mondays. Besides that, I'm president of Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. So I have meetings. I have my chapter meetings from about 6 to 8 on Sundays, and then I have ASARC. I have Senate at 6 on Tuesdays. Audits and appropriations 12 to 1 on Tuesdays, or on Mondays. That's where I'm at. I'm losing it. And then Friday I have ASARC 9 to 5. So pretty much I have all afternoon Friday, Thursday, all day Wednesday, Saturday, and the day of Sunday. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Alright, so Monday I have class and then staff meeting that goes from noon until 6 p.m. So other than that, I don't have anything on Monday. Tuesday I only have class from 11 to 2, and then Senate meetings. Other than that, I'm free on Tuesdays. Wednesday is my busy day. I go from noon to 8, but I'm free before noon, and that's really my class load on those days. Thursdays, I'm pretty much free. All I have is really, I work from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then I have the meeting at 2, but after that, I'm free. And Fridays, I work until 1 p.m., but I'm free after that. And Saturdays, Sundays, I don't work anything.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Pellegrino?
I do not have any classes or anything to do on Monday, and on Tuesdays I have class from 11 to 1:45, and then Senate of course at 6 p.m. And then Wednesday I have class from 5 p.m. to 8 to 7:45 p.m. and nothing else to do during the day. And then Thursdays I have class from 11 to 4:45, and then I have rules committee at 6 p.m. And then Fridays, since this will be the last HR meeting, I will have absolutely nothing else to do. So then again, Mondays and Fridays, I have pretty much nothing to do, and Wednesdays, most of the day, it's free as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator News.
I'm taking 2 classes online and 2 classes in person. I only go to one of the classes in person, so I go to class Tuesday or Thursday. I'm usually with every other day of the week, morning, evening, and afternoon empty for this committee.
Thank you, sir, for being so honest. Mr. Brown.
All right, I have class 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. I have Senate at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. I have UCGA at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays, and I have JEC on Thursdays at 2. And the last ASAR section.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Myers.
Monday and Wednesday, I'm free pretty much most of the day except for 2 to 3:15 for class. Tuesday, also on Monday I have preparations audits at 12. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm free except for 12 to 1:45. And Fridays I'm free, so pretty much open.
Thank you, sir. That's the last person, actually. Take the next question. Senator Ali Mohammed, thank you.
Were any of you guys associated with the grievances that were filed for the
Thank you. All right, we'll work backward. Mr. Myers.
No, I was not.
Okay then. Mr. Brown.
No.
Okay, Mr. Robin-Moose.
No, I was not involved in any grievances filed.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pellegrino.
No involvement with any grievances filed.
Mr. Elo.
I was involved in the grievances filed on Arnold North.
Mr. Romero.
I only know what I read about the grievances and / what the Oracle says.
And Mr. Kenton.
I read the grievances, read the Oracle articles, went through trial, but I had no personal involvement in filing a decision related to the grievances whatsoever.
Thank you, sir. Further questions? Senator Hartman.
In all honesty, how familiar are you with titles and statutes?
All right, we'll start. Game every time. Mr. Uloa.
I've read through some of the statutes. I won't say that I know all of them or anything, but just like I read through Title 7 and ROPs for the election as I was running for office to make sure I knew the rules, I will make sure I read all the pertinent rules and statutes to make sure I know them clear enough to make the decision to look over everything.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Romero.
Yeah, I mean, mine is pretty much the same thing as Senator Uloa. I've read statutes here and there when things are pertinent in the Senate. And obviously anything that comes up in Senate, and obviously running for senator. Again, the second term, I've read the statutes, but I can't say that I'm fully versed in the statute really. So.
Thank you, sir. Kenton.
I have encountered some of these titles before through the Rules Committee. I have not read through all of them as finally as I would if I was selected for this committee. Obviously, I also feel that the experience on the Rules Committee throughout the year has given me a lot of experience in reading and interpreting these titles, understanding some of the nuances of language that can occur, and I think it would be very valuable knowledge to bear in making sure that this committee runs as efficiently and fairly as possible.
Thank you, sir. Myers.
I'm not really aware of all the titles. However, I have read some statutes and ROPs for elections and also for me rerunning. Kind of how some other state candidates said, I'm not fully aware, but if I am selected to be on this committee, I'll make myself aware of everything I need to be fully competent for the decision.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brown.
Well, I've served on 2 constitutional revision ad hoc committees, as well as JEC rules and ASARC, so I have a fair understanding of ROPs and statutes. You know, I don't know them all front cover, back cover, but you know, I know how to interpret them and where to talk about the statutes.
Mr. Robin-Moose.
I'm currently in the process of researching all the statutes, ROPs, Constitution, and the budget, I believe. I haven't read them all, but I do have a personal copy with me in a nice little binder, so I know where to find them.
Thanks, sir. And Senator Pellegrino.
I would say I'm very familiar with the official documents. I mean, as the Rules Committee Vice Chair, I've pretty much seen it all. I would like to say from statutes to ROPs to I was also a member of the Constitutional Review Ad Hoc Committee. Again, Constitution resolves constitutional matters. So yeah, definitely very familiar with our official documents. And not only have I revised the documents, but I've also authored bills that have been in the Senate as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Further relevant questions? So-
motion to end question and enter discussion.
It was endorsements, but same concept, yeah. Any further question, or any objections with the question? Seeing none. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. I'll have all 7 of you step out so that we can further endorsements. So I don't want you to hate your friends, guys. Thank you, guys. Alright, again, we'll follow with 2 endorsements a person. Alright. We'll start with Ms. Pellegrino. Mr. Ron turns to the room. No, Ms. Ron. Thank you. Mr. Kenton. Mr. No. Mr. Kim. Mr. Lopez. Tricia Lopez. Abinamus. Senator Rontar. Senator Romero. Oh, thank you, Father. Mr. Romero. Senator Ron. And Senator Lopez. Senator Brown. He already has 2. Senator Brown. Senator Ula. Senator Myers. Oh.
I was for
Okay. Senator Flynn. Senator Myers. Senator Bowles and Senator Rodriguez. Thank you. Alright. What we'll do is 1 minute speaking time per candidate, and we'll run down the list. So 1 person each, and then we'll run down the next side of the list. Alright? To make sure it's not just one person getting bombarded. Alright. Senator Pellegrino? Senator Rontar, you have a minute.
Okay. Senator Pellegrino has worked in my committee admirably for the entire year. She has served as the vice chair since the summer, and she has not failed me once in that capacity. She's always stepped up to the plate in learning new things, in qualitatively analyzing every piece of legislation that came her way, and she never, ever did a half-hearted job on anything. She will ask the questions that need to be asked, and she will accept those answers regardless of how they are. And she has proven time and time again that she's the hardest worker in my committee and arguably in Senate. But I fully endorse Ms. Pellegrino for this position.
15 seconds. Okay. Thanks, sir. Senator Canton, Senator Joshi. Once you're ready.
Alright. So I haven't had much contact with Senator Canton aside from the work we do here in the chambers, but the way he speaks and the concerns that he's brought up in the past, I feel like he does a really well detailed job, and that's what I'm really concerned about with the members of this committee. I want them to be detailed and presented in a way that I can see how they got to the conclusion that they were at.
Thanks, sir. Senator Abinamus, Senator Rontar. A minute again.
Okay. Mr. Abinamus has been in my committee since he's entered the Senate, I believe, in the midterm elections. And I was expecting him to be a senator that was on the fringe of the discussions, but he hasn't. He asks questions, he gets involved with the discussion, and he makes sure that he picks up on salient points and makes sure that those salient points are addressed before he allows the discussion to continue. He's been involved with drafting legislation, he's been involved with analyzing legislation, and he doesn't hesitate to ask me questions as soon as he's concerned. He's held himself to the highest standards professionally, and in particular when he has to be busy or anything like that, he will make sure that he is not in the wrong in terms of absences and things of that nature. So he holds himself to a high standard, and he will work hard if elected to this committee.
Thank you, sir. Senator Romero, Senator Ron.
Alright, so I work with Senator Romero on ASAC every Friday. And the reason I was endorsing him is because I found that he was anytime there was time to make a decision, he was never called for peer pressure. He always made his decisions objectively, and I feel that we need someone like that on this committee in order to be able to represent us and represent justice and do that.
All right, okay. Senator Ulloa, Senator Cologne.
Alright, so I've known Corey for, I guess, a while. He's a really cool person, and he knows his stuff when it comes to statutes and whatnot, obviously, as some of his answers have told you. He definitely knows what he's talking about, and he's not afraid to go against the popular vote, or not, basically he's not afraid to like give his own opinion and do it unbiasedly. So he's a good person, you know.
Cool, thank you. Senator Myers, Senator Bowles.
Hey man, but I know Senator Myers pretty well. He's a great guy. He's very unbiased. He's gonna work really hard for this. He's gonna do everything he can to bring out all the details of what happened here, and I fully trust him with it.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. Senator Pellegrino, Senator Rome.
All right, so I can't think of any person I've met in the Senate since this past year who has been as hardworking and passionate as Ms. Pellegrino when it comes to Senate. She really admires this position, and I wholeheartedly respect her for everything that she has brought to the table in regards to Senate and her objectivity, neutrality, her curiosity, and she always she's trying to attain knowledge all the time. And I feel like she'd be the perfect person. I mean, obviously I'm the one who nominated her, but she was the first person to come to my mind when it came to something as serious and something as objective as this. And I feel like this committee would be incomplete without her.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Kenton, Senator Lopez.
All right, so I'm choosing to, endorse? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Endorse him because I like how passionate he was about the whole election process so far. I mean, he was one of the only people who said that he was there. I mean, from the very beginning, keeping track of the candidates, seeing what they were doing, and then also keeping track of the trial. He even mentioned like, oh, I was there, and I mean, how many of us can say that we were there? But I mean, when it comes down to it, he just seemed very passionate about it, and
Thank you, sir. Senator Myers, or sorry, Senator Obenemus, Senator Abraham.
Good evening, everyone. My endorsement goes to Umar. I met him in Senate, actually, when I first met him. I was like, ooh, okay, interesting. But so far, he's one of the most friendly people I've met in Senate. He's a really hard worker. I've seen him take initiative not only in rules committee like Mr. Hunter was mentioning, but I've seen him come to appropriations and audits, and that's not a committee that is just come to one. And so I really seen him put his foot forward and dive into this. And even when I spend time with Adam and we're discussing many things, I just think when he says he's taking initiative to go up the step the ladder and learn the procedures, he really does mean that. I've seen him seek out information and put himself to work. So I would really.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Romero, Senator Ode.
Okay, I am choosing to endorse Senator Romero. I serve with him on appropriations and audits every Monday, and I see him every Tuesday here in the Senate. I feel like he'd be a good candidate for this committee. He seems very unbiased, and he was affiliated with the campaign, so that's a plus in this case. I've also met him, the very first time I met Senator Romero was during orientation, actually. So, from the very first time I met, he seemed very confident, very unafraid to go against the popular vote, to speak his mind, and to get to the bottom of it, to find the truth, and that's what we need on our system.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Myers, Senator Rodriguez.
Okay. Senator Myers is going to come in with a really unbiased perspective, and he has a lot of time to be able to dig into all the documents he needs to read and be able to talk to all the different parties in order to get to the bottom of the situation.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So exhausts our endorsement pool. Senator Bowles.
Motion to vote.
Sure, an objection to closing the endorsement, or actually ending endorsement situation and moving on to voting. It's up to you guys. You can have, that was discussion. You can still choose to have a discussion. Just remember, you don't want to be assaulted. Exactly. You don't want to speak in a negative to anybody. So essentially, endorsements, the reason why we do them. The only way you can have discussion is the further endorsement. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, we're not having a discussion. I remember when Ms. Rum asked the information that he was affiliated with.
Point of information is asking a question.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rum asked a question if anybody was affiliated with the campaign, and if each one of them gave an answer, and one of them was incorrect. Are we allowed to have a point of information?
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, from what I've seen, again, take it from or not, but I've seen on Facebook, Mr. Corey Lowe
Really quick,
was
scene
affiliated
is,
with-
stop, please. Scene is completely different than factual, please. I'm sorry, sit down.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, he was
Any-
affiliated with a company.
Anybody else? Seeing no more points. Senator Bowles.
Motion to vote.
Any objection? Well, actually, we have ballots for voting because there's so many people. Yeah, I understand, but I don't know. We let them in.
It's just.
We're gonna. Go ahead.
How do you vote when there's 7 candidates? That's my question.
Right. So. Because there's only 3 people in the committee, but is it? You have it. Yeah. Okay. So here, I'll just play with one. So this is no different than the district. I don't know how many of you guys were here, but so you write your name at the top. You must write your name for this ballot to count. I don't care. You know your own name, write it. Then you pick 3 people on here. The people with the top 3 votes will be the people we put on this committee. You can vote for 3 people. It's no different when you run for Senate. You can vote for 25 if there's 25 open seats. You can vote for 3 if there's 3 open seats. Conceptually, same thing. So, ballot, hands, and work. We're going to bring them in. We're going to bring them in so they could be in for the motion. You get it? So, like, if someone could object to his motion really quick so we can let these people in. Well, they cannot come in after motions. Thank you, sir. They cannot come in after a motion for voting. If you could let them in. Thank you. Oh, and then, no, really quick, guys. You, and Mr. Rodriguez, you 3 will not be voting, so make sure they don't get a ballot. Or if you want to get a ballot and write your name on top of it and just put an X through it, that way we know that no ballot was faked by you guys. That'll be better. Thank you. And everyone just take your seats. Please remain quiet. We're about to enter voting just as soon as you guys walk in. Thank you, Ms. Belizer, for being the best Sergeant Arms. Excuse me? Oh. So if you could help Mr. Aldridge pass out the ballots really quick. You know what I'll do? Everyone has their clickers, right?
No.
Yes. Collect your clickers, please. I'll do a motion for establishing quorum so I can understand like how many people in the room. Just understand this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to have the most accurate count of these numbers. Mr. Hernandez. Any objection? Oh, you can't really check. That happens. All right. Reestablishing quorum. Everyone have your clickers out. I just want the accurate numbers. Here's my number sheet. All right. Click 1 if you're here. That's everybody. Everyone's clicked in. Good stuff. Okay. So proud. 39 people. Alright. Moving on. Mr. Bowles, I recall you having a motion.
Motion to vote.
Any objection to moving the voting procedures? Senator Yolo, is that an objection? Excuse me? You can, unless it's procedural. Okay, alright. Any objections? Seeing none, we're non-voting procedures. Your procedural question.
How many were you voting for?
Excuse me, thank you, sir. So Mr. Aldridge will pass around the ballots. You get to vote for your top 3. Just put X's. You don't have to be like 1, 2, 3, just X's. Then they'll be counted in the back. The people with the top 3 number of votes will be your next committee members. All right. And here's mine. It's the same thing.
You must vote for 3. If you vote for 2, if you vote for 4, it gets thrown out.
Bring them here. Once you're done, just bring them up to this desk here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Over. Thank you.
I feel like some people are.
Thank you, man. Oh, better. It would be much easier to just pass to the end of the road, but I'm sorry.
So are we taking them up to you? Or?
No, just pass them, like, guys, I don't want everyone to come up to me. I don't want, so just pass it to the end here, just do something with that, as long as it gets to me, or gets to the end of the road, I'll bring them. Thank you, sir.
Make sure it's folded. Fold it over.
And then we will not continue the meeting until we have 39 ballots up here. There were 39 of you at one point.
Did you vote?
I did. I put an abstention in there. And the 3 of you, Mr. Aziz, Ms. Kitty, and Mr. Rodriguez, have abstained. Thank you, sir. Excuse me? Thank you, Mr. Harper. I apologize for how distressed this looks. We're just trying to, if you could fold it into that, thank you.
Anyone not voted? Okay, I'll wait.
Bless you. Everyone's voted. All right, everyone's voted. Mr. Aldridge, if you can just count them out before I proceed. Thank you for remaining quiet. We're still in voting until you're done. Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. We're stopping because we did it. All right. We have one of two options now. You can motion to recess, and until they count, you can motion to, or not really motion, but we can either continue on and talk about new senator orientation if you'd like. Senator Larkins.
Motion to continue.
Any objection to continuing on new business? Seeing none, we'll just do that. All right. Fiscal legislation on first reading. It's like an awkward change of pace, guys. That's fine. So, you're. Are you presenting the first bill? Oh, okay. That's why you're here. Wondering. Yeah. I'm doing well.
Do I get the laser?
Yes, sir. Here it is. Just turn it on. Alright, let's scatter and here it is. Alright. Guys, pay attention. Get this done.
Alright, guys. So, this is scatter.
Oh, Senator Romero for the record.
This is scatter. Suncoast Area Teaching, Training, and Education Research. We gave them, we recommended $520 for materials, $200 for food, for a total of $720. Appropriate $42 total, $763.
Thank you, sir.
And 20 cents.
And there's no presentation, but we have the Excel sheets. If you'd like to just briefly describe what exactly their events were that you funded.
Okay. So, as you guys see, there's only one event. and it's the graduation ceremony. Pretty much, we gave them $520 for materials. The materials are outlined here. $60 for tech fees. Nope, we didn't give them anything for printing because they can go to TechSmart as an organization with their budget. $150 for the banner, $50 for the general materials as per standard, $150 for the award, $110 for decorations, which results to $520 for materials. Then $200 for food, $2 a head at 100 people as per standard as well.
Thank you. Senator Elo.
This is a graduation ceremony. Did you ask what the banner was for? What was going to be written on it?
Sorry, Keith.
There's an organizational banner. They are allowed to ask for one, and I asked them they don't have one currently because they are a new organization.
They can ask for it for, I mean, hopefully it'd be for the event, but if they don't have a banner, they can.
All right. Senator Belzer.
It says t-shirt, so I wear t-shirts.
No, they weren't requested
They
when
weren't.
I met with them.
Yeah, it says t-shirts here, but I guess when Senator Katim met with them, they didn't talk about needing t-shirts. So.
Senator Cologne.
There are no further questions. Motion vote.
Sure. Any objections to moving into voting procedures? Seeing none. Do you have your clicker with you? Yes.
No.
Okay. All right. 1 is yes, I want to fund it for that much. 2 is no, I do not want to fund it for that much, and they're not in as funded, so 0. And 3 is to abstain. And if you're related to this org, you're in the org and something like that, you abstain. 35. Is that everybody? Oh. Oh, Mr. Aldridge. I'll bring it to you. $36. Anybody else remaining? See none. With a vote of. What did I tell you? It's at 35, yeah. No, it's not how it works. $36, okay. 36, so 35 to 0 to 1. Alright. And, you know, Student Society of Health Systems Pharmacy. Once you're ready, Ms. Ron.
Alright, so this, wait,
Yeah, don't click any buttons yet.
okay. So we allocated a total of $106 to the Student Society of Health Systems Pharmacy.
Am I clicking on, oh, haha, JK. I was like, why is it working?
Okay, so this organization requested $318 and we recommended $106. They have a total of 3 events, as you can see. It's a welcome back trivia night. The event passed, so we did not fund it. The political advocacy event, it also passed, so we also zero funded that event as well. If you could scroll down, stop texting, that's it. And then they had the end of the semester social, which will be happening at the end of April, hopefully. They requested $90 for food, which is less than our standard, $2 per head, 50 people. And they also requested $10 for materials, with a total of $100 for this event, with overhead that makes it $106. Any questions?
Senator Belzer.
What is the budget
By voting?
for voting?
You're fine. Any objection to moving into voting procedures? Seeing none, non-voting procedures. 1 is yes, 2 is no, 3 is to abstain. 37, okay. 37, everyone voted. Alright, with the vote count of 36 to 0 to 1, budget's also approved. Senator Aldridge, is there a time frame possibly? Like really soon?
About 3 minutes.
Okay.
You have the PowerPoint for the new standard direction in your platform.
Yes, sir. Alright. Just remember that you have either, how many new senators are in the room actually? Just raise your hand, I just want to count. 1, 2, 3. New senators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good stuff. Alright, yeah, I don't mind doing it still, so. What we'll do is we'll go into this new Senate presentation, but just remember, you don't want to leave, don't be like, oh, I've already done this, so I'm going to leave, because if there's a tie back there, you might want to be able to voice your concerns. And as a good recap for everyone that's going to possibly be on this committee, you're going to relearn everything you wanted to learn, or at least dust off. Alright. So, this is the Intro to Senate 101. And okay, we're not going to use this one. Holy. This one with the auto words. So what we have here is what Senate does comparatively to all of SG. So this will help everyone in the room actually so you understand the points of all the branches. As you made up 3 branches, Senate, which is the legislative branch, we just don't have a house compared to our Senate. We're pretty much a house. Moving on, the executive branch and the Supreme Court. 3 branches, legislative, executive, and judicial. Alright, executive branch, that's Mr. Wormke. He was sitting in the back there. He is high. Okay. That's Mr. Wormke, and then the Vice President, Mr. Sandoval. He's not here. And the Chief of Staff, the Attorney General, CFO, and so on and so forth. These are just the ones that are mandated, or this one's mandated statutorily. Moving on, Supreme Court is made up of 9. This has to be corrected to 7. I'm going to do right now before you forget. But it's 7 justices now, according to your updates to the Constitution. And those 7 justices have 3 rankings to them, 3 ranking officers within them, 1 being the Chief Justice, 1 being ranking, and 1 being senior. I believe senior comes first, actually. The point is that's the order of the 3. And they interpret statutes, deal with cases, and handle parking appeals. Moving on, in the Senate we take up bills. So as you've seen today, we had budget bills. Other days we have statutory reform bills and constitutional reform bills. So we pretty much handle all changing that needs to happen, including the change that comes out of our wallets. We allocate the money. We also make sure that, so right here, we fund the organizations, we clarify, rewrite statutes, and commemorate moments, which is when we do actual resolutions. We host resolutions we've done them, so let me just give examples because it's kind of hard to explain what we actually do with them. So we do them for athletics, we do them for students who pass away, we do them for specifically anything really that the Senate wants to address that is within the realm of Senate addressing it. And we pretty much just voice the student opinion. Usually you want to have some kind of concrete backup for the students who feel this way, because you are the voice of the students in a short demand time period. You get it? So like if we wanted to know what students wanted to do tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to gauge the entire body, but we have enough of you here to be able to do that. Senate, we have me, Adam, Senate President, Pro Tem 4 is Adam, and the 5 chairs that sit before you. Mr. Antar is Rules, Ms. Kitty is Appropriations, Mr. Aziz, Ethics, Ms. Al-Qasemi, Special Funding, and Mr. Coco, UCGA. Alright, and then you guys are all senators. Don't just think you're just senators, because most of the time, these kids here, they have to abstain in their committees, and you're the voting body. You are the people who make decisions. So just know that, you will even notice me, I don't really try to guide discussion. I just let free form happen as long as it falls within a realm of being, as long as you follow statutes, I don't care how you guys want to operate as a Senate, as long as it's efficient and formal. We meet every Tuesday night. This has just been a tradition. If there's no other tradition on this campus, this will be one of them. We meet every Tuesday night. You can have special sessions, all that kind of stuff, but just know this is a regularly scheduled meeting. Every week during fall, spring, so this is for new people. every other week during the summer semester. There'll be a couple instances where it's going to be back to back, but majority throughout the summer, it's going to be every other week. They range, obviously. We've had some meetings that, as is quoted, end at 7. It's only, and don't feel like we're just calling you in like we don't have anything else to do, we just want to bring you guys together and have friends. No. We wanted to make sure that budgets are passed and student orgs wait for these budgets, and we don't want to make them subject to our bureaucracy. So they essentially submit a budget and it has to come before Senate before they can be approved. That's the nights where you have 7 o'clock, and nights like where you have elections, nights like where you have impeachments, you have until 11 or further. Governing documents, 3 sets of documents. This is no different than any other place in the world. You'll have the national constitution. You'll further down the state constitution or statutes. Moving down, then we have university protocol. Then we have Senate, then we have student body constitution. Then we have Senate SOPs, ROPs, and then we have committees underneath them. So you pretty much fall under all of those documents. You can't, like, you would be subject to all the rules broken upwards the ladder, whereas if it's a regular student, he's only under the student, or the University of South Florida, and to some extent the student body constitution. But that's just the way it works. So you guys are subject to Senate and SG statutes. Everyone else is just further upwards. That's them though. This is just definitions. So this is where you can find things. New senators, Title I definitions. Legitimately, it's just a dictionary. Well, this looks like a dictionary. Title II is membership powers purposes. So this is where our actual logo is, our seal is, the oath is. Title III, that's executive branch. Title IV is us. Title V is judicial. Title VI is our functional groups, which is not like organic chemistry. All right, ASARC, which is our biggest funding committee. Yeah, which is our biggest funding committee. When they recruited you into Senate, saying that you allocate $14.1 million, give or take, that's the committee that actually sits down every Friday and allocates this money. You still, as a Senate, decide on this money. You'll see it next week. Honestly, I hope next week. You'll see the actual full bill. It's around 27 or something pages last time, I want to say. UWC is university-wide committees. That's you have Committee on Black Affairs, Status of Latinos, Athletics, and they're all prescribed by Dr. Genshaft, and then are appointed by Mr. Warmke. JUSENX, that's actually the 3 branches, the 2 heads from each. So myself and Adam, Mr. Buenaventura and Shapiro, and Warmke and Sandoval. Moving on, election code. This is exactly how you guys got in. So those of you, you all were told to read Title VII. I know for a fact. So Title VII, I was in the meetings. Title VII, you know what that is. That's where you ran. That's where you learned everything. So just know that that's where the ERC is. Mr. Suna was here some time ago. That's where it is. Finance code. This is how we fund people. So a majority of, they like to say that Senate's power comes from the purse. Now it's a very manly purse, I'd like to say. And the finance code specifically breaks down how that money can be expended and allocated up to. And so you'll see more of that later for new people. Agencies, departments, you have SGCS, Bulls Radio, Safe Team. That's actually, and then you have bureaus. That's ASBO, that's the office right there. Actually, Bureau Safe Team. Well, I'm pretty sure these names. But you have ASBO, which is the first office right there. I know everyone here has put in a PO, or at least understands the concept of what a PO is, the purchase order. That's where they go. And Masha's a cool person. You should just meet her. She's in there. You'll know because she's at every one of your committee, or usually any one of the funding committee meetings. That's how you'll know who she is. Esgato, it's Mr. Banco right there on her back, if you could wave. Hey. So they're here to advise, because there's such a big turnover of students. They believe that there should be somebody here who can fluently continue on the trend of, hey, that could have happened before, you might want to look into this. He just points you in the right direction. He's like our own Google. And then safety team. That's the people who have the golf carts and keep us safe at night. Honestly, they're in task with also monitoring the campus. So if you just see them riding around, don't file complaints against them. That's what they do. They honestly have, from UP, because UP is actually who they actually report to. And UP tells them to monitor parking lots and garages so that if there's ever any kind of sketchy activity, they can report it and UP will almost instantaneously address it. This is what rules does. They deal with the actual changing of documents. So Mr. Antar has spent fun nights in rules dealing with the actual changes, and Ms. Pellegrino as well, Mr. Kent as well, seen all three of you there. And changes the bills that come to Senate. So you gotta remember, the reason why we have committees is because if everything happened in Senate, you would definitely be here. It'd be a class. I'd pretty much have, like, you'd pretty much take like 3 credits or something for it, because we'd be here all day Tuesday. We'd be dealing with everyone. Let's pull out our, our rules for today, and we deal with it. Instead, we have committees that break down and further scrutinize everything we do and bring it back to Senate, where it is then voted on by the students, you. So rules, obviously, they deal with rules. Appropriations and audits, they deal with appropriating money interim-wise. So right now, your annual allocation will deal with all organizations and departments that have submitted an annual budget. Everyone else will come into interim and will be allocated by Ms. Pitty and her committee. They also have audits, so we make sure that when they say we had 10 people go to this event and they had one person and he was watching like Netflix and eating a pizza, you'd be like, no, that's not what you told us you were going to have. Please explain why. And we don't persecute them as much as we try to help them as much as possible. We say, here's a way of extending your org's outreach. Here's a way of collaborating with other orgs. Hopefully we have new systems in the future that can help us even further. JEC, the Ethics Committee, receives nominations, so their biggest thing is confirmations. As soon as you guys get in here in office, you're going to deal with whoever the next person is, all their confirmations. You're going to want to have the best people you possibly can, while also being efficient, so that you don't have a backlog or essentially a sewage clog of these people who want to get into office and actually make a difference. So that's where JEC comes first. They're going to come before JEC, then come before Senate for the most part. And that's all directors. Everyone underneath them just goes to JEC. Justices go before both. And they can also subpoena. So we have the power to subpoena before Senate. JEC has the power to subpoena before JEC themselves. That's the only other committee or the only other thing that can do that. And they can start investigations on their own. They also investigate into constitutions. So they make sure that your constitution, your student org constitution, doesn't have some kind of blatant racial profiling or saying that, like, oh, we can only let 10 people in at a time. You can't do that. It has to be as open as possible to every student allowed. And that's regardless, that's with the whole fire hazards involved. So if there is actually a cap on 139 people, we can start telling the cop to let people in and out. The special funding. So that's where I know a lot of you guys have been on travels. You can go with your org up to $7,000 fiscal year, homecoming grant. I hope you guys are doing floats. I hope, because Dr. Genshaft really loves homecoming. You can ask her, she'll tell you. Homecoming, they want to make it a big thing on this campus, and this is our way of helping. And Junior Expo. It's actually a huge expo. It was a week and a half, no, 3 weeks ago now. But it's a really big event. It's on campus, and they have a bunch of tables, demonstrations. They explain everything that you can engineeringly do on campus, and they try to pretty much sell the concept to the students. Like, they just tell you, like, hey, this is how we do it. This is soap. This is how we made soap. Now watch how electric use it. Like, all that kind of stuff. And signature event grants. This is to help the orgs that want to collaborate with one another make a grand event. So you're gonna have, let's see, one event. Okay, so I was actually a student when we did this. We had Chinese Cultural Festival. There you go. And I was in the Senate, so I wasn't biased. But so Chinese Cultural Festival, I helped host it, and what you did is there was multiple, like, as long as one was ANS funded, we had. Oh, are you done?
You can just go and wrap it up.
So once they had a funding event, you just try to allocate money to them to have a very grandiose event and promote collaboration on the campus. UCGA, as you can see, they review essentially what they do is they look at the news and they know what's coming up in the future. They talk to politicians. They talk to imagine. It says right here, federal and state politicians as well. They review UWC reports and try to help assimilate them to campus. They also foster relationships between SG and the student body, namely tent days. I'm telling you right now, tent days, Mr. Coco, he's right there. Okay. Well, Mr. Coco has hosted many tent days in his lifetime, and he can tell you that there are so many responses that it's not even a joke at this point. The people are responding and they're telling us what they want. The best we can do is at least relay the information. And then ASARC, that's the committee that everyone's going to try to jump onto. I swear, it sucks when you're there, but you're going to want to be on it just because sometimes it's 8-10 hours long, and you want to kill the other person. But
It's like, yeah, there's, yeah.
13 hours, give or take, guys. Come on, let's be happy. But you want to honestly wring the other person's throat because you're trying to advocate for the student body. You're trying to be as fiscally appropriate with the money as humanly possible. All right, appropriation. Okay, this is all additional stuff you're not going to worry about right now. Oh, look, questions.
All right.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so
It's just like tips.
yeah, this is like Mr. Aldridge said. They're tips. Appropriation bill that cannot be amended on the floor. That's like when I said yes is yes for sure. Two is no, which means they do not get allocated at all. I hope you didn't just feel bad about the number. You're not telling them they're not ANS acceptable. And 3 is abstain. Right here, yeah, perfect. So you can send it back to committee. Just remember that you're sending it back to committee. Standards. We do this as a guideline. It's not something you have to follow, but it's something we try to follow as much as possible to remain fair and allocate enough to every student org so they can still function without having a buffet at their event with 10 people. Wording is everything most of the time, I swear to you, because when you write something, you want to leave it as broad as possible if it's like the Constitution, but you want to be as in detail as possible if it's SOPs. That's just the way it works because you want to have enough to function and provide for everybody, but then narrow down specificity as you get closer to the origin of the bill. So closer to a committee, it's going to be better. It's going to be better worded. And always, guys, I swear to you right now, I don't care whether you want, if it's a joke or whatever, you think that all bills pass, haha, let me vote no because nothing's going to change. No, I want you to explain why you want to vote yes, and I want to explain why you want to vote no. It helps because I swear to you, Mr. Antar sitting right here he could be on the fence. He could be like, I don't know if this committee, or I don't know if this wording right here is appropriate or not. And then Mr. Canton makes a superfluous point. Then he's just be like, nah, I don't, maybe his point is unvalid, or what I'm trying to say, and then somebody else makes a very valid point. So you just want to be able to flip anyone's opinion by providing true facts. I don't want some hearsay, I don't want some bush rattle, so get at it. And then make sure all of you guys made it here. That's a feat on its own. This one I'm talking to you. But all of you guys made it here. It's a feat on its own. I swear to you, it's been getting more and more intense. Congratulations. Any questions from anybody new or anybody old? Senator Bell is there.
It's not a question. No, but it's a statement, guys.
What's up?
Okay. So, I guess mentioning what's your opinion, but also knowing that it's recorded.
Oh.
You guys know, you guys are being recorded. I'm being recorded right now. My name's kind of.
All right, so guys, she's accurate in saying that you are all being recorded. Remember that anything you can say will be used against you in the court of law. All right, any questions from anybody new or anybody old? Seeing none. Senator Aldridge.
I just want to say one thing real quick.
Yes, sir.
In the future, coming weeks, obviously, we're going to start having info sessions for the new senators. But for those that obviously have been here for the entire year or been here for this term and saw this, you saw it at the beginning and you've seen it now. So please let us know if there's anything in there that you would have liked to have known differently or more of when you first came in. So that could help us in the presentation for next year. That's another reason why we're doing that.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Do you want to read? Do you want me to read this?
If you could, please, since it's already there.
Okay, so I will give the vote numbers, but it is public record, so whenever it gets put on the website, you can see it then. So the 3 members of the Senate Impeachment Committee are Senators Pellegrino, Abunamoose, and Romero. So, very close vote. Everyone voted. No mess ups whatsoever. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right. Educating new senators. What we're gonna do is, if, like Adam said, if there are any new points that anyone likes to say, just while we're here, anyone want to claim anything oh, I wish I knew this, I wish I knew that. If not, all right, Senator Roman.
I guess what was probably most important to me coming to the Senate was being a member of ASARC. I think it allowed me to grow so much as a senator. I learned so much about the funding process and how to represent students and student organizations. And if you guys, the senators, have an opportunity to look at what face our kids and try to get involved in it next year because you will be so grateful. You might want to kill someone in the room when you're in there, and it gets really intense, but it's so helpful in starting with Sean and keeping over the room. But it's probably the best experience I had.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Claude.
So for your senators, don't be afraid to talk. I am like the most laid back person and I have a laid back vocabulary, as all of Senate knows. But that shouldn't hinder you in actually saying what you want to say. I accidentally said no to the provost. It does that. I'll be me, as you see. But it's that the point got across. So just make sure, like, don't try to like stop yourself and be like, oh, let me use the thesaurus. Hold on while I make this point and give you the biggest word possible. Just be yourself. Yeah, that better cut. On record.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Pellegrin, guys, again, remember, don't be all like emotional about it. Just point.
I would like to say, just don't come to Senate at 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Don't just go to committee just because you have to. Like, make the best out of it. Try to get involved as much as you can. Volunteer, not just for selected friends, but also if there's like you need help, go ahead and volunteer. Like, Senate is basically whatever you want to do out of it. You can just do the bare minimum and make sure you get put it out, or you can actually do something great for your constituents and just do great things for the government for the U.S. city. So that's what I recommend.
Senator Kenton, thank you.
One piece of practical advice: go utilize the Senate office. If you have homework to do, if you have stuff like that, go up there, be in the office, because when you're physically on location, you'll make a lot more connections with people. You'll hear what's going on. Opportunities will open up that you may not have thought about before. So small practical piece of advice: be in the Senate whenever you're free time.
Senator Arnold.
Something I wish I knew when I first came into the Senate is what each of the committee actually was used for. I mean, when you go to rules, the first meeting you sit in, you're like, oh my god, this is boring. But each thing that you have to follow afterwards, I mean, you have to follow or look to is rule committee, so you should be in there because they make all the changes over here. It's much harder to make things work here than over there, so I'll go over there. And then appropriations and audits, I mean, instead of having to send it back and forth, I would look at the bill right there because you can change the money however you like. In JEC, you get to decide who you work with the executive branch. So again, I would also look at JEC. So I wish I knew all of that and I would have attended those committees a lot more. I mean, I try to look into it. I try to jump in. I'm in the Senate way too much. A lot of people can attest to that. But I would actually, if I knew that beforehand, I probably would have been involved with JEC a lot more and picked the executive branch. And, yeah.
So I guess just better go explain committees.
But I do love the executive branch now.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Brown. Senator Brown. Guys, and just okay. Also, you guys remember the bullseye ceremony, so just don't get all emotional here. That's for that. Like it's 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away.
You have a vision. Because I know at the beginning you had a vision for a new student world, and 2 semesters and $324,000 later, you've got almost to construction. So, take your vision. Don't quit.
Thank you, sir. Senator Ulloa.
I'll wait for all this. I'll wait until.
The bullseye ceremony? Thank you, sir. All right. Final roll call. Oh, go ahead. We're not okay. Well, I'll consider this all announcements. Then. Go ahead.
So, as she came in earlier, don't forget about the basketball game. I was talking to Dean Friedman this morning, and he was telling me how the whole football team went to the first basketball game, and so it's pretty packed. The next game is completely empty. And our girls are in this tournament. They're in, I think he compared it to the Sweet 16 of the tournament. So they're in the top 16 in this tournament. So you're free on Thursday at 7 o'clock. Go support the Bulls. Get your friends to go support them and show them what you like us to be. The SLA haven't had the best sports teams all year, so for a team to be doing this well, we really should be showing them support.
Thank you, sir. Senator Moorman. Oh, Senator Hartman. Senator Hartman.
If you guys aren't doing anything on Saturday night and want to have some fun, my fraternity is hosting the annual Storm in the Bulls. It goes to a good cause, our philanthropy, which is about bringing underprivileged kids into colleges and universities. And if you don't know what Storming is, it's something that Greek orgs do. You don't have to be Greek to come to the show. I know it's to a good cause, so let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Senator Aldridge.
These are over here after you sign out.
Oh, yeah,
come
engrave
by,
names.
pick it up on your way out.
And only take yours, guys. Don't leave them.
Please, let me take it.
It's new. Senator Yolo.
Time and place of the
It is Saturday night. Doors open at 4, show starts at 5 in the Oval Theater.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thomas.
I actually invited the city to the Florida Model Legislature the last time I was here. I sent you an email with all the details and haven't received a response. I was wondering if you guys wanted to go to that.
I'm pretty sure I forwarded it.
Conversation's still open.
I just have pulled emails on this.
Training for some of the new students that are not very experienced is the Senate because it actually gives you extensive training on how to form interesting and legislation.
I remember your email. I'm pretty sure I forwarded it. I'll just double check on it when I get in there. But yeah, thank you, sir. I apologize. Senator, if you could say your name for the record. And you can stand. Just.
The other day, there was anything about impact being approved to be given out to the city. Was that for just the current ones or for the new ones?
That's with these people right now.
But then once the next term starts in the summer, the
Right.
new people involved will do that.
And so what will hopefully get done is that you guys will have, the new people will have the new name tags as soon as possible. These do look a lot more official. I hope you guys don't, like, you could all wear them, but like, term's over, so don't just go try and troll on people and be like, I'm in SG, Yeah. All right, any more announcements? All right, final roll call. Have your clickers out and please just click one if you're here. Stay seated. Let's just do this. Is that everybody? With 36 present, Senator Abraham. Any objections to adjourning? Seeing none, we're now adjourned at 8:23 p.m.
I also say that was a really good attendance as well.
I'm not going to hold you. That's crazy.
Now,
look, see? You're watching me do it, right? It's just frozen. What do you want me to do?
Do we have to sign anything?
I'll put it in the thing, too.
No, don't sign anything. Just pick your side.
You want to chill? Look at you being free as shit. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure I sent it. And just look, my emails are tripping out on me. I can't even access this right now. So if I forward to my email, I can't do anything. It's not updated since January. Like, I thought that they told me to do it. I can look at it on my phone. And I'll forward it to my phone. Because I just like, I'll do it right in front of you. I'm sorry. Well, it's not.